Welcome to this week's chat where we will take a look at our emotional processing skills. So, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Melanie, and I'm here today as your self discovery, mindset, and wellness coach. My goal is to empower you, help you find clarity, break free from those self imposed limitations, and create the life that you desire. I want to start by taking a look at the word emotions so we can get a better understanding of what emotions really are. The meaning of the word emotion is energy in motion. Essentially, we are constantly in motion. Every single molecule in our bodies are always moving. Emotions are there when we start experiencing different levels of vibrations. Biologically, emotions are there to let us know that something is important to us and to prompt us in action. They are natural and instinctive feelings that all humans experience. They are a mix of physical sensations and mental responses to various situations or events. And in life, there are going to be people, events, and circumstances that will bring up feelings of anger, frustration, sadness, grief, but we will also experience people, events, and circumstances that will bring us hope, joy, laughter, and bring us clarity and purpose. Our emotions play a crucial role in shaping our thoughts, our behaviors, and our overall well-being. They help us understand ourselves. For example, what we like, what we don't like, our passions, our disinterests, and it helps us express ourselves. Our emotions will also influence how we interact with others and how we make decisions, as well as the decisions we make. So, in a nutshell, our emotions play a major role in our lives. Therefore, we need to be aware of them, validate them, and process them effectively. So, emotions, feelings, and moods are all related, but yet they're distinct concepts. We often use these words interchangeably, and I do it as well, until I looked it up to discover and understand its meaning and their differences. And I do this because there's power in knowledge. So, first, let's take a look at emotions. Emotions are intense and short lived reactions to specific events or stimuli. They're often triggered by external circumstances, and they can be experienced physically and mentally. Emotions are often brief and have a clear cause, like receiving good news or encountering a threatening situation. And examples of emotions are those such as happiness, anger, fear, surprise, sadness. Okay, so the emotions are the first thing felt facing a situation. And then we have our feelings. And feelings are more general and they're longer lasting experiences that arise from emotions. They are mental associations and interpretations we give to our emotional experiences. And unlike emotions, feelings can persist even after the triggering event has passed. So, for example, if someone experiences sadness due to a personal loss, the feeling of grief may continue for an extended period as they process their emotions related to the loss. So, the initial emotion is the sadness, and the feeling that persists is the feeling of grief. And then we have moods. And moods are more subtle and enduring emotional states that are less tied to specific events or triggers. They are more long-term and can last for hours, they can last for days, or even longer. And they can influence how a person perceives and responds to various situations. For example, if someone is in a good mood, they might approach a situation with optimism and positivity, while a person in a bad mood might be more withdrawn or irritable. So, are you starting to see the difference between the three? Emotions are immediate reactions to specific events. Feelings are the mental responses to emotions that can persist over time. And then moods are longer lasting, emotional states that are less tied to specific events. So, what is emotional processing? Simply put, it's our ability to process stress, events, and circumstances in order to move past them. It's the way our brain handles emotions, just as a computer processes the information that we feed it. So go with me here. You're working on your computer or your phone, and you open one tab, and then it leads you to open another tab, and another. And this continues until you have just about a dozen or more tabs open. What happens to your computer's processing ability and speed? It diminishes, correct? Then maybe you try open one more tab and the whole thing shuts down. The same happens with our emotions. If we face one situation and decide not to deal, then another happens and another. And if every time this happens, it's like a tab that we just leave open, right? We're constantly in the fight or flight mode. Eventually, what's going to happen to your whole system? It's going to shut down. And we want to avoid the shutdown. We want to avoid the fight or flight, right? So we want to be able to process the good emotions, such as happiness and joy and excitement, just the same as we want to process the sadness, the anger, and the frustration. Okay. So we want to avoid having all of those tabs open. We want to have one tab open, process it, and be done with it. We shut it down. Another one comes up, we process, we shut it down. This ensures that we are processing and we are functioning to the best of our ability. So when we are only able to process half of these emotions, we stunt ourselves. We stand in the way of our own growth. There aren't right or wrong emotions because, as we saw earlier, emotions are natural and they're biologically necessary. We must feel them. We must accept them for what they are. And then the tricky part is deciding what we want to do with them. Now, the majority of people will feel the feelings or the emotions, and then they accept it for what it is, and then it's done. But you're not closing the tab. It's still there because you haven't fully processed it. You need to decide what you want to do with that tab. You need to decide what you want to do with that emotion. And when we go out of our way to avoid any situation that could bring up something frustrating or uncomfortable, because we have no tools to be able to handle the feelings, we are building a box around us in hopes of protecting ourselves. But the truth is, we aren't protecting ourselves at all. We are actually locking ourselves in the box with our emotions. And now we are stuck with them. So when we place that box around us thinking that we're protecting ourselves, we're not, because those emotions are in here and you can't disconnect from them. They're with you. So when you lock yourself in that box, those emotions are stuck in there with you. And then we sit and we dwell in the anger, we dwell in the sadness, and we find ourselves not being able to escape them. Can't even shut them down because they're too big. There's too many. So we want to be able to process our emotions in a healthy way. Excuse me. Oh. Oh. We want to be able to process our emotions in a healthy way so that we can leave them where they belong, in the past, and we want to move ourselves forward. So when we have unprocessed emotions, we can feel it in our bodies in a variety of ways. We can experience increased stress, heightened anxiety, depression, We can have unpredictable mood swings. We may experience sudden shifts between different emotional states, making it difficult to maintain emotional stability. It can affect our ability to communicate effectively and empathize with others, which results into misunderstandings, conflicts, and strained relationships. When we have emotions that are left unprocessed, we may turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms such as overeating, substance abuse, or excessive screen time to help numb or avoid the feeling temporarily. And the key here is temporarily. Failing to process emotions can hinder the development of emotional intelligence, which is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions effectively. Emotionally charged situations can cloud our judgment and decision-making abilities. Unprocessed emotions, especially those related to past traumas or negative experiences, can undermine self-esteem and self-worth. And then the chronic unprocessed emotions can negatively impact physical health. Studies have shown links between unprocessed emotions and conditions like cardiovascular disease, gastrointestinal problems, and weakened immune systems. Right? When I was in that place of unprocessed emotions, there were so many of them, and I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I was experiencing all of these side effects. But I believed it was just my body and my mind failing on me, that there was something wrong with me. But what I didn't realize was that it was all the unprocessed emotions, because that carries weight. And it was hindering my body. It was hindering my mind. It was hindering my capabilities to function on a daily basis. Right? So then when I started looking back at those tabs and dealing with them, facing them, validating them, exploring what they meant, and then turning my newfound knowledge into tools, now that became empowering, right? So it's important to acknowledge and process our emotions in a healthy manner to prevent these side effects. And here are a few helpful tips to help improve your emotional processing skills. So number one, go within. Be aware of your emotions. Accept them for what they are. We all have them. It is normal. And then we need to validate the emotions and start asking ourselves good questions. Start questioning the emotions. Start questioning the situations that prompted the emotions. Journal on the experience and the emotions that have come up. And then you can do all of this on your own. But I guarantee that there's an easier way. And that is by hiring a mindset coach who can help you gain the tools to help you process your emotions. And most importantly, can help you move forward. And this is where I come in. I am here as your self-discovery mindset and wellness coach. I am here to listen. I am here to guide you, and I am here to encourage you and help you move forward. So I encourage you to scan this QR code and schedule your free coaching call with me. Let's connect. Let's chat about your goals and how together we can create the life that you desire. Chat soon.